Good evening. This is the explosive weekend debate. My name is Toya Singh. Tonight it's impossible to not keep our focus on the frenzied developments that are taking place in the I.N.D.I.A alliance, specifically in Delhi and in Punjab. Yesterday, the Aam Party called off its Punjab alliance with the Congress, and today it's seemingly called off its alliance in Delhi, with the Chief Minister saying that the Aam Party would win all 7 of Delhi's seats, hinting that they wouldn't be entering into any seat-sharing agreements with the Congress. Now, some of our ground reports suggest that this could just be an Aam Party pressure tactic on the Congress to get them to budge on the number of seats. But tonight, we look to understand, is this that, or is this one domino after another falling, as the BJP would like us to believe? And where does this leave the country's main opposition for 2024?
लोकसभा की सीट है। दिल्ली के लोगों ने ठान लिया, 7 की 7 सीट इस बार आम आदमी पार्टी को देंगे।
On the one hand, we have seen Ram Mandir Nirman taking place. People are saying Jai Shri Ram. On the other hand, I.N.D.I.A alliance structure is getting demolished day by day, and people are now saying Ram Naam Satya.
Okay, we're going to be having political voices join us on this shortly, but first let's start with analysis. Kamru Choudhary is with us, a political analyst. We also have Desh, Ratan, Nigam, also a political analyst. I'm going to come over to both of you. Good evening, gentlemen. I'll first come over to both of you just to get your initial thoughts. Then we'll take a deeper dive into this story. Mr. Choudhary, if I may first come over to you and ask you, do you see this as a pressure tactic? Do you see this as the Aam Aadmi Party just sort of warning the Congress, look, we'll do what we did to you in Punjab if you don't agree with us? Is that how you see this, sir? Or do you see this as chips of the I.N.D.I.A block falling one by one?
Yeah, tonight I hope you permit me to be very candid on your show, as CNN is widely, News 18 is widely seen by a lot of the grassroots workers of all parties. As myself being a grassroots worker, I am very happy if the alliances with Mamata Banerjee and Arvind Kejriwal does not mature on the ground. That's what I feel that it should not be happening. The reason are, Lord, you also know the reason. But the most importantly, our alliances were time tested with DMK, with the RJD, with the Shiv Sena Uddhav group, the Samajwadi Party is almost mature. And there are smaller alliances like in the Assam or with the left parties in Bengal.
When you're saying, Mr. Choudhary, one second, when you're saying our alliances, are you referring to the Congress?
Yes, of course, I'm referring to the Congress,
okay,
because I am an ordinary member of the Indian National Congress without holding any portfolio within the party, but I speak for an ideology which I believe in. Not that a Palturam which will change overnight with its ideology. That's the basic understanding and basic introduction of myself to you as a politician. Now, coming back to the topic of tonight, in Mamata Banerjee's fiefdom of West Bengal, there is a huge anti-incumbency against her this time. Now, if, let's say, God forbid, Congress and the left align with Mamata Banerjee in Bengal, the 42 seats, the anti-incumbency vote against Mamata Banerjee would have migrated towards the BJP. This is a very candid, I'm telling you. Now, there is an option available to the voters of Bengal that these people will be voting for the Congress and the left combined out here, which will not go to the BJP. So, in a sense that the alliance of the India front, if at all we have an alliance with Mamata Banerjee, that might happen post-poll. But pre-poll, I don't see any scenario for a alignment out here.
Okay. Mr. Choudhary, 1 second. I do need to go over to each of the panelists we have with us. So I'll come back to you for a deeper dive in a second. But first, let's go over to each of our panelists. So let me just summarize, Mr. Choudhary, what you've said. You've said that you are a grassroots Congress worker. You've started by saying that. And you've said that I don't look forward to the party's alliances with both Mamata Banerjee and with Arvind Kejriwal. Tonight, we're trying to focus on the Arvind Kejriwal aspect. And I'll ask each of the other panelists to just focus on that. Though, of course, we'll look at the bigger I.N.D.I.A picture in just a second. Let's go over first to Abhinandita Mathur. Ma'am, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. If not, do correct me. You're a spokesperson for the I.N.D.I.A party. Ma'am, I think it's actually right that we come to you first and ask you. The statement Arvind Kejriwal has made today, what's the right way to look at it? Should it be looked at as a threat of sorts to the Congress, or is this him formally saying we're not going to partner with you on any chairs, any seats in Delhi?
Look, first thing, that the I.N.D.I.A party is very committed to be part of their alliance, and we are very committed to defeat the BJP. We feel that the way the BJP is going ahead and, sort of attacking the basic structure of the constitution, our, core values of our country, the kind of corruption that the BJP is doing, it's important for any real Desh Bhakt or people, who want to actually see a future for India vision to come together. I think that is one thing, that is where our commitment lies. Second is that, as you will understand, it is not easy for any two political parties to come together, and these are not decisions that are merely taken, at the top, but there are also considerations of your cadres, considerations of your grassroots volunteers, of your, MLAs, of your local leaders, both for the Congress as well as the I.N.D.I.A party. So where we stand today is that, as you know, that in Punjab, both the cadres do not wish to actually be in an alliance. Right. And that is under consideration. And since the time is less, we have no option but to go ahead and, start preparing, and there is no harm in it. None of this means that we are not in the alliance or that there is any problem with party A or party B. But we have to take a lot of things under consideration, and I think that is very natural, and honestly, that is not a big threat to us at the moment. Whereas other states are concerned, just to quickly tell you, what we are thinking as far as other states are concerned, in considerations and conversations with the Congress party, with our own, again, cadres, leaders, our own political affairs committee, I think very soon we will be able to have a decision about the other states like Delhi, as you mentioned. Okay.
So ma'am, I just want to ask you, I just want to ask you, of course, as you pointed out, there are a few different states that we'll open up this discussion to. We'll talk about those in a second, but I just want us to do what you just focused on in the end, Delhi. Ma'am, today morning, Arvind Kejriwal making this statement in Punjab, and word for word the statement he's made is that I hope the people give their votes, 7 seats, to the I.N.D.I.A party. How can the media, for example, how can other parties look at this, if not in the way of him saying that we're going to run in these seats alone? What are the two ways of looking at this?
Right. One thing is that you have to keep in mind that he is also addressing, his own supporters and the people at large. As the national convener of the I.N.D.I.A party, he's obviously going to, the first thing that he will say is to vote for the I.N.D.I.A party. And if the pre-alliance, if the pre-poll alliance had happened by now, then he would have said, okay, vote for the India bloc. So I think that without wasting any time, he is consolidating his support and basically, making the electorate aware that we are going in for the elections and, let's defeat the BJP, and I.N.D.I.A party is very much in the fight in Delhi and in Punjab. So that is what he's conveying. So, ma'am, and we're also hoping that, sooner than later the Congress can also come to the table.
Right. Let me just quickly summarize what you've said before we go over to our other panelists. Essentially, you're saying the Punjab deal being off the table is done. But in Delhi, the conversation is still very much on, and that Arvind Kejriwal's statement should be taken in the context of the fact that he was speaking in front of lots of people. This was in a rally in Punjab. I hope that's an accurate summary. Let's go over right now to the BJP. Shazia Ilmi is with us. Ma'am, today we've heard again and again BJP reactions to this story. And even when we first broke the story, to be honest, it felt almost as if the BJP was being given something on a silver platter. Here you're being told by an I.N.D.I.A alliance member, an open statement that we're going to be contesting these seats alone. Shazia, how do you look at all of these developments, particularly the fact that yesterday they've come out, the I.N.D.I.A party's come out and said, we're not holding the hands of the Congress in Punjab. Now this statement, how does the BJP see it?
So frankly speaking, Toya, I am not surprised at all. In fact, I've been saying it for the last, I think, 9 months that Kejriwal will. There is no chance of Aam Aadmi Party coming together with Congress, where Delhi and Punjab are concerned. Now, if you see how Aam Aadmi Party, if you see the genesis of the party, it began with Anna Hazare movement. What was the movement all about? It was about the UPA 2 corruption, right? It was only when Arvind wanted to become the CM, so he took the support of Congress party, but the whole entire movement and the very raison d'etre of Aam Aadmi Party was against UPA 2. Now, this is a party which has actually decimated Congress in Delhi and in Punjab. So, there is hardly any hostility. I mean, where we are is where we are. Our vote share remains the same. In Punjab, we haven't been a big player. We were a small party, Akali Dal. We were the smaller partners of that. But this is for everybody to see. So, actually, it is Aam Aadmi Party which has gobbled up Congress. And you know, and it is very silly of Congress to expect otherwise, and to even invite Arvind Kejriwal into an alliance, knowing the history of the man who is the biggest turncoat in the history of India. So there are no surprises here, and some of us have been saying it for the longest period. So, like, one can just say, look, we told you so. What do you expect? This is Kejriwal we're talking about.
Okay, let's go over to Desh.
And it's also very rich of Abhinandita ji to talk about corruption.
We'll get. I want to pull up the numbers also, Shazia, that you were talking about in a second.
And for the BJP. And to the BJP about and the BJP speaking about, you know, people coming from one party to another or taking U-turns is also very rich, Shazia ji. So I don't think that that coming from the BJP
people going from one party to the other. I think you're very confused. My dear friend, you're very confused. It's not coming from one party to the other. It's speaking against a party, coming to power. Owing your political
I'm talking about the dubious alliances that BJP
and then joining Congress party. But I'm talking about this.
The BJP
my dear friend, I'm talking about something very basic.
But I'm talking about the dubious alliances of the BJP
because of corruption. But you are talking, but I'm showing you the mirror.
Every time the BJP is ditching the mandate of the
people. One second, I do need to still go over to our fourth panelist. So we'll go over to Desh Ratan Nigam now. Mr. Nigam, if I could ask you a question now. Desh Ratan Nigam is a political analyst who we're joining us with. So, if I may pull up for our audiences right now the timeline of the different alliances that you have the I.N.D.I.A. that has entered into. So, we're just looking at the last few months. Of course, the first meeting for the I.N.D.I.A. alliance happened in Patna. The JDU has now left the I.N.D.I.A. alliance. We've talked about the TMC, which effectively, while they are still part of the I.N.D.I.A. plank, they've said they're not seat sharing. We're seeing the complications in the conversation with the RLD, the SP in Uttar Pradesh, and that really matters obviously for the Congress. And now obviously yesterday and today we're seeing the Aam Aadmi Party. So somewhere or the other, because we know the Congress has had such a big role to play right from the beginning, this was the party that needed to make those alliances as the single largest national party there. Do you see this as a failure of the Congress, or do you think it's unfair to rest the blame there?
So yeah, in fact, one of the biggest failure of the I.N.D.I.A. alliance is that it was not based on any policy. It was based on defeating BJP. And then the permutation combination started. So regional parties never want to cede space to the Congress because it is always at the expense of the regional party. Even in UP also it had happened. In a number of places it has happened. So they don't want to cede space. And alliance does not mean blanket shifting of cadres or voters or supporters on the other side. Please remember that. When you are rivaling each other, you are making allegations. All the cases which have started against Congress and other Aam Aadmi Party or BSP or SP were on the complaints of each other.
Mr. Nigam, can I ask you just another question here? Sorry to cut you off. How else do you think this could have been done? Let's ask you that instead. Do you think that this national alliance could have been stitched together differently? Tell us how.
See, there has to be some kind of a alternative vision to BJP. Concrete alternative vision that this is how we are going to do better than BJP. A critical thinking going into BJP's working, the policies that they have, then that kind of alliance could have taken place. Here, the only alliance was corruption was the underlining factor because ED and various agencies were actually having a zero tolerance for corruption. That became the gluing factor. And second, defeating BJP. There was no alternative vision. People are not fools today. Voters are very smart. They want to look at what is your alternative vision. There is no alternative vision. In fact, on a TV channel, a very popular Congress spokesperson was there. And in 2015 on a TV channel, there was another Congress person, and I asked, what is the alternative vision? The answer was, we are still working on it. And 2024, when I asked the same question, the same popular spokesperson told me, we are still working on it.
Okay.
So that is the paralysis that I'm talking about.
Let me just go over then to Kamru Choudhary. Mr. Choudhary, let me remind our audiences that you've also said you're a field worker in the Congress. Sir, your own views, you started by saying that you don't think that the idea itself of a I.N.D.I.A party or a TMC alliance was a good one for the Congress. Sir, the fact that this voice is so strong and so different from what we're hearing in terms of the messaging coming in from the top of the Congress, is it very clear, sir, this disparity in the messaging, the top level saying we're here, we want to make these alliances, common workers like you, as you're saying you are, saying, no, this isn't a good idea. Was there a need for Congress to have first resolved the differences in its own party?
No, do you refuse anybody coming into your house? At least you will open your door and ask, what have you come for? Please come have a cup of water, a glass of water or a cup of tea. That's the Indian Sanskriti all about. Sure. Now, let me tell you once again, the idea of defeating BJP is not the absolute task of the Congress party alone. The entire national parties that are there, the regional parties combined together must come together to defeat this vision of the BJP that Mr. Nigam has been speaking about. What is that vision that we are so
sorry, I need to ask you, when you say that these parties need to come together, but you're also earlier saying that we don't want an alliance with the I.N.D.I.A party, exactly what are you hinting at, sir?
No, I told you pre-poll alliance may not be matured, but post-poll alliance can mature.
Okay.
Because I as a party will not be able to cede my ground to another different party that is there in politics. Unlike the BJP, which is gobbling up political parties itself, breaking them, like the Shinde Sena, like the Nitish Kumar, Palturam. There are numerous examples in the country which BJP has done there. Now, let me just give me 10 more seconds. When you remove three important topics from the BJP's talking ground, you have a level playing field. What are those three? First is the Mandir, second is the Muslims, and third is the Pakistan. You remove these three from their vision document, you have got a level playing in India.
Okay.
Second point is that most importantly, Toya, just 10 more seconds, is the transparency, bring in the transparency in the electoral bonds.
Okay, so 1 second, you did say 10 seconds a few times. 1 second, you have now argued here that the Congress does have a vision, and that's your counterpoint to what Desh, Ratan, Nigam was saying earlier, that the I.N.D.I.A doesn't have a vision. You're saying they do. Let me go over right now though to the I.N.D.I.A party spokesperson who we have with us, because I do want to understand, since this story does start, today's story at least starts with the I.N.D.I.A party. Ms. Mathur, if I could ask you, the Congress, admittedly field worker, but still the Congress worker who's with us right now, saying that a post-poll alliance might actually be a good idea and something that could still be on the cards. Is that the way the I.N.D.I.A party sees it, ma'am?
Look, this is a very extraordinary sort of a situation where at the moment the BJP is using all its might to crush any voice that opposes them or questions them until you join them. So obviously in this sort of an extraordinary scenario, the opposition parties are trying to figure out what best can be done. I'm sure that there will be possibilities of pre as well as post poll alliances. I mean, those are not options that we can rule out at the moment. But what is, definitely not. You know, like we said that we all, a lot of us are going out of our way to actually accommodate each other, you know, to come together for national interest. I think that is what is key, and there nobody is shying away from you know, what is being said. Nobody is shying away from the core agenda of this alliance. So I think that is where you have to also see how the alliance stands strong, because the voice, the sort of, voice against the BJP right now is being crushed very harshly. And if you see what is happening in states like Maharashtra or Assam or Bihar now, that unless and until you go and join the BJP, they're not going to let you breathe. Okay, they're not going to let you, not going to let your work as a government.
I do appreciate what both you and earlier what Kamru Choudhary were hinting at when, you're suggesting that the opposition is being crushed. But, ma'am, I do want to understand, with the Chief Minister today coming out and making a statement like this in the media, aren't you leaving the public confused? Because this is mixed messaging, isn't it? You're telling the audiences, you're telling the public, I.N.D.I.A, we are a strong alliance, and then you have contradictory messages like this coming out. Don't you think it's going to result in confusion for your voters?
I hear what you're saying, and but I would also say that I think that the viewers are also quite mature. The viewers are, I don't think that they come thinking, finding some final answers in that sense. We are not defeating our viewers, we are not defeating the electorate, and I think that is what comes through very cleanly. Whatever, like I said, and I speak very candidly here, that these are very extraordinary circumstances. In this, we are trying to figure out a very complex situation that we are trying to resolve. So I don't think that if we are doing it with earnestly, sincerity, and discussing with the people of this country honestly, I don't see any suspicion there. Okay. Whereas I think there are dubious claims that parties make. I think that's more dangerous for our electorate.
And ma'am, let me take one last question to you, and forgive me for focusing on you. It's because the story is surrounded around the Aam Party and the Congress, which is why I'm coming back to you with one more question. Absolutely. Before we go to the other panelists. I just want to ask our producers to pull up the numbers from 2019 right now. Ma'am, if you just take a look at both Delhi and Punjab's performance in 2019, and you just take a look at that vote share, what is confusing is that in 2019, and we'll bring up these numbers as you can see now on the right side of your screens. If you just take a look right now in Punjab, Aam Aadmi Party with 7.3%, Congress with 40%. So Congress doing incredibly well. Now that alliance off the table. If you even look at Delhi, you have Congress at 22%, Aam Aadmi Party at 18%. Ma'am, in Punjab, we understand Aam Aadmi Party, is confident. There's just been an election. In Delhi, it seemed as if the Congress needed the Aam Aadmi Party. Where in Punjab, one could argue the Congress didn't need the Aam Aadmi Party. They did very well in 2019. In Delhi, it was a different picture. So why then, ma'am, such a difficult time with the Delhi conversation?
Actually, a couple of things. One is, as you know, that, everything changes one election to another. I mean, the 2019 results were different from 2014 results, and we are also a very small party and a very young party. So obviously, any growth for us is incremental. So I think that is something to keep in mind as far as the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned. In Punjab, I must say that, with the work that is being done by the Aam Aadmi Party government, our growing popularity is no secret. If you go on the ground and talk to the people of Punjab, I think the verdict is pretty clear. But the other point that you had raised about, why is it taking so long? I can't see actually the monitor. I don't know the ankras that you're showing, but from what I have understood, I think that we would actually definitely want the Congress to be in conversation to, close on some of these critical things as elections are closing. But regardless, we are going ahead with our preparations.
Okay, I'd like to thank all of our panelists for joining us tonight. The Aam Aadmi Party clarifying the conversation is not over yet. They're saying that more chapters remain. Okay, let's shift our focus now. We're keeping it obviously on the elections, but we're taking you to a different state altogether. BJP National President I.N.D.I.A participating in the BJP's Pad Yatra in Chennai in Tamil Nadu. Remember, the BJP failed to open an account in the last elections. They're hoping to leave a footprint this time in Tamil Nadu. Listen in to what I.N.D.I.A had to say.
I would also like to share with you and tell you that Tamil Nadu is very much in the hearts of Bharatiya Janata Party leadership. For Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, Tamil Nadu is very special to him. And this is not only in words but in deeds. But I would like to say today that it is rich Tamil Nadu with very poor leadership at the moment. It is the rich Tamil Nadu. The people of Tamil Nadu are rich. They have got the art. They are hardworking. They are the people who bring laurels to the state. But I am sorry to say that the leadership of Tamil Nadu, the DMK leadership, is a very, very poor leadership that we are getting. This leadership lacks wisdom, does not have here anything, it lacks wisdom. It does not have the basic feeling and respect for democracy. Here when I came, the markets were shut down. The street lights were put off. Huge platoon of police was deployed. It made me remember the emergency days. But I would like to say, Mr. Stalin, days are not far when you will be out.